big part of Crimson Desert is making cash, greenbacks, coin, cheddar, scratch, moolah, cha-ching, simoleons, whatever you want to call it. And a great way to do this is to gamble. And there is a game in Crimson Desert where it's similar to poker. It's not quite poker, but it's a good way to make money. And it's the one that I use all the time. I periodically go back to a gambling den. I don't do this in real life, by the way. I periodically go back to a gambling den and make a lot of money this way. And I'm going to talk you through how to do this. It has different names depending on where you play it. Sometimes it's called Duo, sometimes it's called 5 card, etc. I'm going to tell you how I make a lot of money playing this. And it's quite easy to game, to be honest, especially if you, let's be honest, if you save spam. But you don't even really need to save spam that much. The AI of the other players is not great. So I'm going to teach you how to play this. First of all, you need, if you want to play 5 card, which is the highest paying one, you need 150 silver. How you get 150 silver, that's up to you. There are various ways to do this. That's the buy-in. That's the minimum buy-in. I'm not going to explain here how to get that much silver. If you're playing Crimson Desert and you've got like 25 silver, 30 silver, go and look elsewhere on how to make that much silver, okay? So you need to go to a place called Bagan. Now I've shown it here on the map, and it's I believe it's actually part of the story quest, but there's a gambling den here, and they play a game called 5 card, and if you go to this gambling den, you can play 5 card. And I'm going to break down to you what you need to do to make enough money very quickly. The first thing you need to do is you need to create a save point outside the gambling den. If things go horribly wrong, if you lose all your money, if things don't go your way, you can just quit and reload and try again. I don't find that that's all that necessary. Once you know how the rules of the game work, you can normally win. And the second thing is, I prefer to have 3 players because the tactic I use, which is a tactic I got off an article online, may have even been IGN to be honest, means that you go all in when you have a very strong hand. And if you go all in and everyone else goes all in, then you make a lot of money very quickly. If there's only one other player, that's fine. You might make your money. You might double your money rather. But if you've got 3 other players, ooh, yeah, boy. So, the first thing I would say is you need to know what hands are good, but you don't really need to know how to play the game. Effectively, I would put it like this. If you have a pair, okay? Now, the way this game is played is if you have a pair, they will be rated on the number of the pair you have. So you'll have a 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, blah, 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 all the way up to 9 pair. A pair is actually fairly rare. You can probably go all in on, I would say, a 2 pair, to be honest. Anything above a 2 up to 9, it's worth a punt, right? However, there is a hand called a perfect 9, which is not as good as a pair, but it's still pretty good. And even if you have points, you'll have a hand called 1.2.3 point. What I tend to do is I will raise, because a lot of the hands are just simply no good. You'll often get a bust. So, to keep it short, if you have a pair and you've already saved beforehand, I need to reiterate this. Just go for it. Just go all in. The only caveat is that the artificial intelligence of the players means they are more likely to bet very high early on in the round. I would say normally in the first 2 to 3 hands. So if you get a strong hand, a perfect 9 or a 3 pair higher than a 3 pair, go all in. They will probably see you, and you will probably win.
This is getting more interesting.
The second bit of advice I'd give is catching out cheaters. This is actually very, very, very lucrative. Once you know the sign, once you know the tell of a cheater, if you accuse them in time, you have to press on the Xbox controller, it's the Y. I'm not sure what it would be on the other control systems. If you spot the tell and you accuse them, what will happen is they'll be punished, to put it mildly, and then their pot will be distributed evenly among the remaining players. Now, the easiest way to spot this tell, there is actually a tutorial in the game that explains to you how to cheat. I've never cheated. I don't think it's worth it. But if you can spot what other people are doing to cheat, it's brilliant. And basically, the way I put it, as I'll show a screenshot of it here, is normally when people go to play a hand, they'll put their hand thumb down. Okay? You'll see their hand go thumb down. If they're doing a cheating hand, it will be thumb up or fist up. As if you're going to make a, what's the word? As if you're going to make a thumbs up sign. Okay? So you'll see a thumbs down when they grab the sticks, the cards, whatever you want to call them. If they do a cheating hand, once you've noticed it, once you can spot the difference, it's very obvious. And I will put a screenshot here, I will slow it down, etc. If you can spot them doing that and accuse them, you'll split the pot. Often, what I will do is once the pot has been split between the players, I'll just leave the game, because that normally doubles your money. The third thing is, like I said, this goes back to what I said earlier, a lot of the hands are very bad. You'll get a bust a lot. A bust is obviously, as it implies, it's a hand with no value at all. And even having a point, like you might get what you might think is a shit hand, like a 1 point or a 2 point or a 1 pair. It's probably worth bluffing. Like, you can check if you want, but what I tend to do is raise. And normally you can kind of rely on the fact that your opponents will also have terrible hands. Sometimes they will win. Sometimes they don't know how to bet against their own hands. They might have something like an 8 pair and they don't raise. That they're completely useless at playing this game, and they will fold on a much higher hand than yours. But if you sort of raise or go for half pot or whatever, bluffing works a lot in this. So there you go. If you follow those 3 tactics, bluff on an okay hand, if you look for cheaters, and if you go all in on a very strong hand, especially a strong pair or a perfect 9. By the way, a perfect 9 will not beat a pair. It sounds like it's the best hand. It's not. But if you follow those tactics and you save beforehand, and like I say, because the AI tends to get more and more cautious as you play, I wouldn't go all in after maybe hand or round number 3, perhaps. Then you can make a lot of money very quickly. That's it. That's my advice. Thank you. Goodbye.